Is retiring to the sun or the tropics all it's cracked up to be? That is the question. You see, it's a simple question. We spend our lives working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, 5, 6, 7 days a week, and we get up by the clock, we go to work by the clock, we clock on, we have a break by the clock, we have lunch by the clock, we have an afternoon break by the clock, and we go home by the clock. And then all of a sudden, you get to that age when you retire and your time's your own. And you have to say to yourself, this is absolutely fabulous. Now, going back in time, into my 20s, I used to go to Spain, Greece, Portugal for summer holidays. And I remember the very first time I went to Spain, or I think it was Mallorca, and I experienced Bugan Vila, the shrub Bugan Vila. Bugan Vila, I was transfixed by the vibrant colours and vivid and the way it grew up the white walls and villas, and I thought, oh, I'd love to have a garden where I could grow Bugan Vila. So sure enough, in the fullness of time, when we got this place, May and I planted a load of Bugan Vila. It was all over the garden, but right down there was a long line, right down the front of the veg plot was a long line of Bugan Vila, and it was vibrant, and I was so pleased. But Bugan Vila, whilst it looks beautiful, it's got spikes on it and thorns on it. Oh my God, it's wicked. Great as a security hedge, but it's wicked. And therein lies the point, doesn't it? And the point is, it might look beautiful, but it might have those hidden spines and spikes and points and nasty bits. And that is retiring to the sun. People say, oh, I'd love to retire to that lovely what. You don't. It's a lovely overcast rainy season day today, but by and large, when we're in the hot season and it's sunny and blue skies, you spend your life avoiding the sun. I had an English friend here, he's dead now, died a couple of years ago. Tommy, he was in his 80s. And Tommy had 2 rye, just less than an acre of a garden, and he used to say, I plan my jobs in the shade. So wherever the sun was moving, Tommy was working somewhere in the garden in the shade. So you retire, and then the next thing is when you retire, you've got all this time on your hands, and for the first few weeks it's absolutely bliss. You can lie in bed, you can get up when you want, do what you want, go where you want, and then all of a sudden you realise you've got a lot of time on your hands, and that's when you need to find your ing. Ing? Ing? What is ing? Well, I'll tell you what ing is. Your ing. I'll give you a few examples. There's a guy, an American guy, who's been here a number of years, and he's got a place on Turtle Beach, which is towards Phuket way. Never been. And his name is Steve Ross. Ross with an E. And Steve Ross spends his time beach combing. And Steve he collects old cigarette lighters and bottle caps and all sorts of flotsam and jetsam that wash up. And jetsam, really, flotsam is on the water and jetsam is on the shore. So it's stuff that's coming in the water, in the sea, debris, litter. And Steve collects it, takes it home, and he washes it and sorts it in colour and texture and all that. And he makes models. And one of the models he makes, because it's Turtle Beach, he makes models of turtles out of old cigarette lighters and old cardboard boxes and the like. And they're very good. And then you've got somebody like Steve's friend, Tim Newton. Now, Tim Newton, I think he's Aussie, sounds Aussie. And Tim Newton has a channel. And it's TNT, Tim Newton Today. And Tim does reporting. He does the news, the Thailand news, reporting. So that's Tim's thing. My friend who lives up at Chiang Rai, Ian Welldale, Ian does photographing and vlogging and riding his motorbike-ing. You know what I'm saying. It's about finding what floats your boat, what occupies your mind. It might be reading, it might be gardening, it could be a load of different things, but you've got to find. I've got another friend who lives here, who spends his time watching YouTube and drinking beer, wine or spirits. And most nights he goes to bed in a stupor. That's his ing. I mean, I think it's folly being so much like that. You might want to retire to somewhere like Pattaya or Phuket, and your ing might be shagging or chasing ladies or boys or whatever your ing is. My ing, I like making things in the workshop, particularly out of scrap or waste. I absolutely love pottering about the place, the gardening. And look at this, after a week of rain and I've not been able to get the mower out. I'm going to be mowing and then composting. Got to find your ing. It might be painting and fishing. There's loads of ings you can do, but you need to find your ing. Otherwise, you're going to be bored out your tree and you're probably going to end up drinking yourself to death. I've got another friend here who loves reading. And this guy, he must read 3 or 4 books a week. Reading is his pleasure. Look at that. Look at that rice. And the clouds coming off the jungles where it's been raining, steaming off. Beautiful. Lots of phalangs. Get a camera and do vlogging. Could be fish keeping, beekeeping. Find your ing. That's my advice. Find your ing. May loves growing food. These are all pumpkins. And last week they had big yellow flowers, and those flowers have now turned into fruit. Lots of fruits on those pumpkins. These are the pumpkin flowers. So if you're going to retire to the tropics, what is your ing? Put your ing in the comments. What floats your boating? Could be boating, canoeing, sailing. It's all available here. Could be motorbiking, cycling, mountain biking, ATVing. If you retired here, or if you are retired here, or if you were about to retire here, what do you think your ing might be? I actually thought, look at that, beautiful, those raindrops, like little diamonds, aren't they? I actually thought that when I retired here I would take up painting again, not painting the house, painting pictures. I used to love painting. I haven't, apart from when I painted the baby's toy box, painted all the cartoon characters on there. But might be writing. With the encouragement of David Robert Thomas, I wrote a novel. In actual fact, it's going to end up 3 books. I've written the first 2, and I'm 10 chapters into book 3, and I've had immense pleasure writing it. Will it ever be published? I don't know. I'll put the book cover on now, and you can see it's a historical novel set at the turn of the last century, 1910, and set in northern England, and I had great fun writing it. So there you go. Please put your ing in the comments below. Bye bye for now.